All right, welcome to another Art and Symbols of St. John's. We are continuing with the stained glass depictions of the apostles, and today we're going to talk about St. Philip and we're going to talk about St. Peter. And so, starting with St. Philip, you'll notice that his symbol over here is of a basket, and he is associated with this basket usually for his role in the feeding of the 5,000, according to John's Gospel. And so this is John chapter 6, verses 5 through 7. So Jesus comes together and sees this big crowd of people, and he looked up, Jesus, and saw the large crowd coming toward him. And Jesus said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread for these people to eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he was going to do. And Philip answered him, 6 months' wages would not be enough bread for each of them to get a little piece. And so he's usually associated with that because then later on in the story, he and the other disciples then help share that bread that is spread amongst the people, the bread and fishes. So that's why he's associated with that. And then on this side, we have St. Peter. And there's a few different symbols that are thrown in here. First of all, you will notice the keys. He's got these oversized keys in his left hand, and also at the bottom, over the cross, that upside-down cross, there are 2 keys. And this is because of a passage that shows up in a couple places, but I'll read out of Matthew 16. Now when Jesus came to the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, Who do people say that the Son of Man is? And they said, some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the other prophets. And Jesus said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered, You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah. Simon Peter, it's the same name for him. For flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And so this is associated with Peter's declaration of Jesus being the Messiah. And there's a clear connection between this declaration that Jesus is the one who saves us from our sins, who is here to restore the world, destroy the power of sin and death, and that there is a key to that in sharing that good news that looses the world from the bonds of sin and death. And so that's why Peter is shown holding those keys. You will also notice in the middle, that symbol there is a rooster, which of course references at the trial of Jesus, while Peter was in the courtyard, he denied Jesus 3 times. And before that, Jesus had predicted that Peter was going to deny Jesus 3 times before the cock crowed that morning, so before sunrise. And that's exactly what he did. He denied that he ever knew Jesus, despite being questioned about it. And then underneath of that, you see that under the keys there is an upside-down cross. And according to church tradition, Peter, like Jesus, was crucified. He was killed for his faith. But the story goes that Peter felt that it was not his honor to be crucified in the same way as Jesus had, and so he requested that he would be crucified upside down. And so that's why we have that. So that's Peter and Philip, and we will continue on next week with another apostle, with St. Paul.